Hi guys, Ben here and welcome to Motivation to Invest. Our mission is to motivate you to invest for your financial freedom by providing you with valuable investing tips and strategies. As the great billionaire investor Warren Buffett says, investing in yourself can be the greatest investment you can make. And with the average CEO reading 52 books a year, reading is one of the best ways to invest in yourself and improve your knowledge. Now, everyone knows reading is a really great way to learn. However, it can be time-consuming, difficult, and boring for some people. So in this video, I'm going to reveal how I effectively read 79 business and investing books in just 7 days. Let's dive in.
Coming in, flex, I just wanna win.
Before we get started, go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to turn the notification bell on, that way you'll get notified when I release future videos and stock picks. It's good to be first on the scene when an interesting stock is at a great price. It's well known that some of the greatest investors and most successful people in our society are all voracious readers. From Warren Buffett.
Read. I probably read 5 to 6 hours a day. I don't read as fast now as when I was younger, but I read 5 daily newspapers. I read a fair number of magazines. I read 10Ks. I read annual reports, and I read a lot of other things too. So I've always enjoyed reading.
To Bill Gates.
If you read enough, there's a similarity between things that make it easy because this thing is like this other thing.
And even Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Imagine you read 1 hour a day about history. How much you will learn after 365 hours.
Now, I have been following the habits of these great business leaders for the past year. And although I have found it engaging and I have learned a lot, I have also found it very time consuming. However, when the international health crisis happened and the planet was put into complete lockdown, my businesses were put on hold, and thus I found myself with a lot more free time. Now, I had two choices at this moment. I could moan about the situation, or I could look at this situation as a fantastic opportunity to improve myself and improve my knowledge. And one of the best ways to do this is by reading. Now, I used to have a great method of getting books. It's this mysterious place which you never really hear of these days. No, I'm not talking about Amazon or worldofbooks.com. I'm talking about the library. Like, you can actually, there's this big building you can go in and you can rent any books you want for virtually free. Like, a lot of people just tend to have forgot about this place. I did as well personally for many, many years, and I was like, okay, does that still exist? Is that still a place? But yeah, it was great. I could go in, get whatever books I needed. But with the lockdown of the entire planet, I couldn't get any books. I could order some online, but they were taking a long time. And then I just thought, this is very time consuming still, so I've got to wait for the book, order it, get it, read it. That takes up a good portion of my day, and then I can't work on my other projects which I've got. So I thought there has to be a faster solution, there has to be a faster way of absorbing this information. So I read up a bit on speed reading, I read up a bit on different ways of absorbing the information, and then I stumbled across these book summaries. So there's a great YouTuber called the Swedish Investor. Now, this guy, he's literally an amazing person named Eric. He's done the hard work for us. He's actually gone and read over 79 investing business books. He's gone and read the books for us, and he's summarized the books down into just 15-minute segments. So you can watch 15 minutes, and basically it's like you've read the book. It's not as detailed, of course, because it's only 15 minutes, but it still gives you the main points. Which, even when you read the full book, you can often forget the main points. If someone asks you what were the 4 main points, and you'd often hesitate because maybe it's subconscious. With these book summaries, I thought, okay, that's amazing. They've got these 15-minute book summaries there. I could just read them, and I thought, this is too easy. Can I just binge watch book summaries like a Netflix series and then become a genius in 7 days? Yes and no. So yes, you can do that, but I realized the reason reading is powerful is because it's an active process. So when you're reading, your mind is active, you have to take in each individual word, you you're thinking about the words. Because if you switch off when you're reading, you won't take in the information. Like, have you ever been reading a book, you're reading it, you're 1-2 pages in, and then you're like, oh, what was that previous page about? Or you lose track of where you are. That is where your mind is not concentrating and you're not absorbing the information. So I thought, I can't just binge watch the videos mindlessly in an inactive mode the same way I would watch Game of Thrones or Power or Narcos on Netflix. So I thought, okay, what do I need to do? And I thought, okay, I need to watch the book summaries, but actively. So I made notes as I was watching each one of the books. And I set myself a challenge. I thought, I've got this time off now. How can I absorb this information as fast as possible, but not too fast that the information is not absorbed? So what was my strategy for actively trying to absorb all this information from these books? And the challenge was really to try and watch 79 in less than 2 weeks and actually know the information as well, not just aimlessly watch it. So I did the maths. So like I say, there were 79 book summary videos when I started this challenge. I calculated that 15 minutes each times 75 is 1,185 minutes it would take me, which is only 19 hours. So I thought, okay, could I invest 19 hours of my time to consume the information of 79 books? I think that's a very good return on investment. So I looked at a few different options of me achieving this. If I spent 3 hours per day, it would take me just 6 days. If I spent 2 hours per day, it would take me just 8 days. But I also calculated that because I'd be making notes to make it an active process, which is key here, because I don't think just watching them, if you're trying to do a massive amount like 79, will allow me to absorb the information effectively. So I was making notes, and I split the challenge up into 2 sessions per day. So 2 sessions, 4 videos each. Then I have a break, I have some food, have some lunch, maybe do some exercise, and then I'll watch the other 4 videos. The strategy I used was to set myself an average of 6 videos per day, approximately 90 minutes, 1.5 hours to complete all videos, and it would take me approximately 13 days. Also, this will free up my brain power to absorb the information better and improve. So as a bonus, I have the option to do 2 extra book summaries as a bonus per day, depending upon how complex each of the books were. So did I complete the challenge? Well, yes I did, and it took me just 8 days. So I managed to complete the challenge, discipline myself, and watch all 79 book summaries and make notes. But it wasn't without its challenges and required a massive amount of discipline, focus, and organisation. So what did I learn from effectively reading these 79 books in 7 days? Well, I learned a massive amount about investing. It also reinforced a lot of concepts I was already aware of, but it just helped to bring them back into my conscious mind because I maybe learned them a few years ago and it just re-energized them into my mind. I also learned a lot about life and just what is the best way of living your life, being productive, relationships with people, networking, business. I learned so much from reading these 79 books. So as you can see, I have over 35,000 words in notes I made on the videos during this challenge. The idea behind making notes was to keep my mind actively engaged and help me to remember the content by consciously thinking how I could apply the information to my life and investment decisions, as I believe that's the best way to learn. Like, for example, if you want to learn about plumbing, don't learn about plumbing 2 years before you need to do some plumbing. Learn about it the week before and then do the action because you've got the knowledge there and you can apply it straight away. So I'm all for applicable knowledge. Some of my favourite books in the list were from Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, who's the father of value investing. His book, The Intelligent Investor. This offers the raw principles of value investors. There's also various other books written on Warren Buffett and even books on Ray Dalio's diversification strategy and the principles he uses in his day-to-day life. They are also very, very powerful books. I also watched the book summaries from great investors such as Philip Fisher and Peter Lynch, who details the strategies everyday individuals can use to beat the stock market. Then of course there are more complex stock market investing books, such as Mastering the Markets by Howard Marks, which details the stock market cycle and how you can take advantage of it. To a variety of trading books, which offer an introduction to trading and the psychological limitations human beings have when trading. This is much better than doing one of those free trading webinars by some untrustworthy character. There are also various psychology and conceptually challenging books, such as Thinking Fast and Slow and Anti-Fragile, which details the black swan concept and how many of us are vulnerable to random and unexpected events, such as the recent health crisis. Now, there were 79 books which I effectively read, so me going through every concept of them would be very, very time consuming. So instead, I thought I'd give you guys just a brief summary of the main concepts that I've learned from the books. And I'll call them life principles, life investing and productivity principles, which I'll apply in my life. Now, some of these I had on my list already, but by reading the books again, it sort of re-energized that information into my mind, and I made sure they were cemented onto this list. Now, I firmly believe that these nuggets of wisdom will not only improve your investing skills, but also your productivity and your quality of life. Right, guys, diving into my list of the top investing and life principles. I've just got a couple of quotes at the top here I really like. So, readers are leaders. Some examples: Bill Gates, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett. I've also got learn from the best. There's a quote by Isaac Newton. It says, "If you wonder why I can see further than most other people, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants." So that basically means learn from the people who've been there, done that. Learn from the best people in your profession, your discipline, or even just people you admire. Look at people who you admire in life, your heroes, your mentor. Learn from them, learn their methods, their mindset, their tactics, their strategies, and you'll find yourself progressing a lot faster in life. It's another quote here: "Insanity is doing the same thing multiple times and expecting different outcome," by the great Albert Einstein. Now, I love this quote because how often in life do you find yourself doing something and you're thinking, "Oh, nothing's changing in my life. I'm not achieving this goal," or whatever it may be, and it's because you're doing the same thing. Like, for example, in the gym, this could be, "Oh, I'm doing the same workout every day for the past 6 months. I've not achieved any results." Well, it's because you're doing the same thing. You've not changed your workout. You've not improved. You've not added weight. You've not changed your strategy. So that's just a really powerful quote I live by. So moving into section A, we've got investing principles, pearls of wisdom. First on my list is understand and invest in your circle of competence. So your circle of competence is basically, what do you understand? Like, there could be some amazing new biotechnology company which is creating an Android which will help in someone's life. But if you don't understand the business, you don't understand how it operates, you will not understand when things go wrong. You will not understand when to sell your stock. So it's just very powerful to know your circle of competence and invest in that. You can improve your circle of competence over time and widen it, but it's much better to be a master in one area than try to know everything. And that's why Warren Buffett sticks with very, very simple investments. Coca-Cola, Gillette. He knows people are going to have to wake up and shave. Even the airlines for a period of time. He knows people always need to fly. He stayed away from technology. He missed out on a lot of good investments, but he didn't understand the industry at the time. So there you go. Another quote here: "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." Now, this is another great quote by Albert Einstein, who's obviously known as one of the most intelligent people of all time. But I think it states clearly about, I call it being intellectually egotistical. Because you see a lot of people, they may have done a very high level of degree, or they've come from a privileged background, and they tend to speak at a higher level than other people may understand. They sound intelligent, but really, to me, the true form of intelligence is be able to communicate with different types of people. Like, if I know someone may not necessarily understand a certain technical term that I will be saying, then it's up to me to explain that properly. Or that means I'm the bad communicator, not the other person. So I just think that's a great concept there to live by. He's also got another one very similar. It says, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not too simple. So that means you should simplify down any processes you have in life, but don't oversimplify it where you're losing information. Another one here, use a margin of safety, by the great father of value investing, Benjamin Graham, who was Warren Buffett's mentor. Margin of safety is basically, imagine you're catching a flight at the airport and you arrive 2-3 hours before to give you a margin of safety in case you hit traffic, in case you hit queues when you're checking in. So this margin of safety is very powerful, and it's used in investing a lot. One of the most powerful ways to give yourself a margin of safety is when you're investing into a stock or a property, is to get it at a below market value. So that could be at a low PE ratio, that's a low price to earnings ratio, so a lower valuation, because you've spotted something which you think there's potential for the business, that it's been overlooked, or the stock market's overreacted for a period of time. In property investing, I use this a lot. So in property investing, I look for properties, or I negotiate properties below market value. So if the property's worth £200,000 here in the UK, and I know that's the market value, I will try to get it 190,000 or 195,000 at least, just to give me that margin of safety. Because then when I come to sell it in the future, I've just got that little margin of safety, which does help out a lot in every area of your life. And it also compensates for potential mistakes. So nobody's perfect. No matter how intelligent you are, whether you're Warren Buffett, Einstein, Benjamin Graham, you will make mistakes. So margin of safety helps to mitigate the risk of that. Another one here is to research businesses both quantitatively and qualitatively. Now, I've got another video on this, so you can check that out in the link below. But basically, quantitative is the numbers side, the balance sheets, the earnings, the profit margins. Qualitatively is the other side of the coin. So that is the competitor research, the industry growth, the management. So investing is a two-sided game. That's why mathematicians are not the wealthiest people in the world, because there's two sides to the coin. Scuttlebutt investing method. This is by the great Fisher, who's a great investor. Basically, talk to people. Like, there's always something someone else knows more than you. So speak to people. Like, I remember I've recently invested in a UK fashion brand called Boohoo on one of my stock market investments. I'd heard of them, but I didn't know what their customers liked about that product, because it's a female fashion brand. I don't know what their customers see in the product that gives it a competitive advantage. So I asked a few friends, and then the information became clear to me. So talk to people in the know. There's always someone who knows something more than you about a certain area. It can really help with investments. This is a great one by Warren Buffett. Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. This is extremely powerful. So when there's a stock market crash, it is basically contrarian investing as well. So when there's a stock market crash and everyone is fearful, that is when you, as an investor, should be greedy. You should be looking for deals. You should be investing into the markets. Obviously, investing in an educated manner, not investing into anything, because there is volatility. There is businesses which will go out of business, but you should still be in that mode of, I'm investing during this time. However, when it's all rosy and everything's fine, that's when you should be fearful. That's when you should be sitting back and saying, okay, is everything as perfect as everyone's saying? So this is a very, very powerful quote. I used this on the last stock market crash in 2020. Everyone was fearful. I was investing very, very hard in the stock market during that time. One here by the great Howard Marks, assess risk first. So a lot of people when investing or trading, they tend to look at the upside, or how much can I make from this deal? But you should always look at it from a risk perspective first. What's the risks? And as Warren Buffett says, rule one, don't lose money. So look at the risks, have a risk management strategy, and understand what will happen if things don't go as planned. Another one there by Howard Marks, understand market cycles. Be self-aware of emotions and control your emotional state. Daniel CROSBY. So this is, just basically, control your emotions, be self-aware. Ego can hold a lot of people back, especially if they think they're too intelligent to learn. There's an old Chinese proverb, a wise man knows nothing. So if your ego is holding you all back, you're going to lose. It's simple as that. Invest for the long term. Warren Buffett again, of course, he knows the market always has previously progressed in an upwards direction over the long term. So the more likely you are to stay in the markets, the better your chances of being successful. This is one by Anthony Bolton, which talks about basically investing in good businesses. How likely is this business to be around in 10 years' time and be more valuable than it is today? And this is a similar one by Buffett. Invest in an exceptional business that you will be happy not to get a quote on for 5 to 10 years. So he's saying basically look for great brands and great businesses to invest in. Invest at the point of maximum pessimism by Sir John Templeton. Weak current profits in a stock with good past record creates a good chance for deep value contrarians to zig. So that contrarian investing is you're observing the masses and doing the opposite. So when the world zigs, you're zagging, and when the world's zagging, you're zigging. So it's just how you can be very, very successful. Think independently. Only dead fish follow the stream. Be a lone wolf, not in the herd of sheep. So there's a big herd mentality in the stock market. Panic can reign. Reversion to the mean. This is by Howard Marks as well. The key to maximizing returns is to maximize our chance for mean reversion. So reversion to the mean is basically things will always revert to their average. So if a stock is vastly overvalued than it should be, then really it should revert back to its average point. Or if the market has overreacted in a negative way, it should revert back to its average. A great analogy for this is, say you're walking a dog and the dog is sort of pulled quite far away. You can judge that at some point he's going to turn back and walk closer to you. That's an analogy for the stock market cycles. Tobias Carlyle, remember every investor, no matter how great, has made mistakes. The great learn and grow, while the average people are set back. So basically learning from your mistakes. A mistake repeated more than once is not a mistake, it's a decision. And there we go, only dead fish follow the stream again. Peter Lynch, focus on the even bigger picture. Don't get caught up in the herd mentality. So Peter Lynch, he's one of the greatest stock market investors who beat the market multiple times. And one of his great philosophies is look at the big picture. So he advocates investing into businesses which are overlooked or just people don't like. Like, for example, a funeral business which buries people. Many people will shy away from that type of business. And this is what Peter Lynch is saying. Well, look at the big picture. It's a business. It's a successful business. It doesn't really matter what it does. The fact is it's a good value business. It's got good profit margins. So it's worth a good investment. Another one here, Start with the Don'ts concept by Charlie Munger. So start with what you shouldn't do as a way to solve basic problems. So, for example, you're playing tennis against someone who's very sort of low-level beginner. You should basically just concentrate on getting the ball over the net because you'll probably win by just being consistently not bad. And same in, say, basic level boxing, just don't drop your guard and don't get hit. Investing, don't lose money. So start with the don'ts.
Overall, we live in a very privileged time. We have an abundance of information and data available all online. We can learn anything from being a surgeon to learning Spanish to learning the piano or even learning investing online for free and easy. However, with great power comes great responsibility. We also have access to a lot of unnecessary and toxic and degenerative information online as well, or just information which won't help you to live your life. For example, I do love Netflix, but if I binge watch Netflix every day because it's so good, it wouldn't help to improve the quality of my life. So you just have to be aware that with great power in this age comes great responsibility, and you need to filter out the information necessary to help you move towards your goals. Like, this is why I
rarely watch the news because I feel the news is very negative. I'm a very positive person and I want to be even more of a positive person. So if I watch the news regularly and absorb that negative information, then that's not helping me to be more positive. Instead, if I absorb information from productive, optimistic, positive, intelligent people, then that information will be absorbed in my mind, and also the whole mindset of how to live is also enhanced, and which will enhance my life even more. So just be aware of the type of information that you consume and just make sure it's aligned with your goals. Also useful to recognize that there is a big difference between intelligence and wisdom. To me, intelligence is a sort of byproduct of what you learn in school, but wisdom is what you learn in life. So I hope these principles which I've told you today can cut your learning curve down to zero so you can absorb this information which these great investors have learned over the entire career of investing. So which investing and productivity habits do you live by? I will also love to know your favourite books and what you think of the principles on my list. Comment your thoughts below. Also, you should check out the video I did on my top 5 investing books for success. I'll leave that on the link below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, smash that like button and definitely subscribe. See you next time.
Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win.